Hello everyone, it's time for another edition of Try Hard Racing with me, RollCageTV, where I do the best I can with what I've got, which is not a lot of talent, but a whole lot of heat. Bringing the heat today, not my racing, it's never my racing. It is warm here today. Live in the Twin Cities, Minnesota area. As I say often, it gets warm here in the summertime. People don't believe me. They only know that it gets down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit air temperature in the wintertime. To be fair, our average is, around 20. What they don't know is it gets up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the summertime. Though, again, to be fair, our average is only around 80. The other thing, it gets up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit with 80-degree humidity, which is what we're talking about this weekend. And I'm doing this on a Saturday, which last time I checked, Saturday is part of the weekend. So it's warm here today. So if you looked at the time on YouTube and you saw that, hey, this is only like a 40-minute episode, it's not because I expired. It's because in order to get the audio quality good, I have the air conditioner turned off, and it's going to get pretty warm pretty quickly. I'm going to have to make shorter episodes, take longer breaks, try to get the air down so that I don't expire, because I'm an old man. And, yeah, I don't want to keel over. So anyway, I will try my best to keep the sound quality good. I'll warn you now, if you're watching this in series, it may be that next episode or one of these episodes, I'm going to keep the air on during the entire time, which means the sound quality is going to be bad, but I'm going to try what I can. At any rate, we were in the middle of nonsense. I remember that because in an unprecedented move, the night before I started streaming this episode, I watched over the last part of the last episode, so I know what I'm in the middle of. Almost never know what I'm in the middle of, but I do know what I'm in the middle of. And what I'm in the middle of is taking this car, which is going to change if I go to the garage. Don't go to the garage! It changed. Anyway, what I need to do is, I'm trying to qualify for one of these last open wheel races. And to qualify for the fully upgraded version, well, I need to be able to buy the car. To qualify for the last version, I need to upgrade stage 2 to access this event. But the only vehicle that is available for this event is, it's the same vehicle. The only vehicle that's available for this event is, yeah, because there's only one vehicle that's going to take me right into the race. And they do what I do. It's a special event. The only vehicle that's available is this vehicle here, which is the Row R26. But here's the rub. Some of this is recall. Some of this is redundant with what I said. If you watched the last episode, it's refresher summary. Anyway, in order to upgrade that vehicle, I need to buy it, and I don't own it. If we go to the garage and I go to open wheel, you will see I can't upgrade it. This is the vehicle. I need to buy it. Is that the one? Which one is it? It's one of these. Yes, it's the Renault R26. Yes, I can't. Ah, right, it's a different vehicle I have to do. To buy this, if you look down on the left, it says I have to complete the AVAC sponsor event. Now, normally I skip these sponsor events because they're not necessary, and some of the sponsors are broken. So, what I have to do is complete their objective events. And fortunately, the AVAC sponsor event, which requires which is over here. Which is here. The challenges, AVAC sponsor event. To get the AVAC sponsor event, and like I said, I've been forced to do some of these. Which one is the AVAC? AVAC sponsor event. You know, I think before I move on, I'm just going to see if I can get all of these. Because otherwise I can't get in the challenges unless I do 9 of these, but I think it's going to require drifting, and I'm terrible at drifting. I can't possibly require it, so we'll see. But the AVAC sponsor event is down here. Complete all AVAC sponsor objectives. What are those objectives? Haha! Funny you should ask. It doesn't tell you there. Of course it won't tell you there. You have to go over to team. And the objectives, yay! It didn't lose my data, which happens sometimes. AVAC sponsor objectives are to get so much airtime, finish first in circuit races with 16 or more opponents. Those I could do, and it remembered that I did them. And I had to drift so many meters. Well, I'm terrible at drifting. And right now I got 9,000 out of 17,000 that I need. So I don't know how many more laps of this I need to do, but I did a few laps with the race creator. I did a drift racing event. And what do I have? What do I have laps? I have 13 laps selected. I'll just redo this event. If I think I only have one vehicle that's eligible, right? No, I have 2 vehicles that are eligible. Both cars are selected. It was this one that I wanted to do. Okay, let's go back and it tells me to save. Yes. Save slot settings. Yes. Okay. Oh, but I wanted to do... That's the vehicle I'm using. I wanted to do 13 laps. Sure, that's fine. Okay, let's do it. Let's create the event. And now you get to see an old man sit here and suffer. Yes, I don't care about buying it. I don't want to buy any dirt cars. I just need to drift. Even in a rental car, I just need to drift. And I'm going to be sitting here for several minutes. Maybe even taking up an entire episode, especially if I make the episode shorter. Doing nothing but trying to drift this vehicle. And, oh, that crowd is too loud in my ears. They seem to think they have something to cheer for here. Well, you see, if you know anything about drifting in this game and how it works, you can see that there's no way I could finish in any place but last. I do have a competitor with me, and I think I do have this on easy mode, easy AI, and I have a competitor with me just to demonstrate how far behind, how I will finish last, and by how much I will finish last doing these, which tells me that I cannot ever come close to any drifting game. I stopped playing Forza Horizon 4. Absolutely love that game. But I stopped playing Forza Horizon 4 because they had an expansion, which was, I mean, I played so many hours of Forza Horizon, thousands of hours of Forza Horizon. You just play it every day. But, you know, one thing about Forza Horizon is you can be a collector. I was a collector. I collected all the cars. You know, some of them you could win on a wheel. I kept spinning the wheel. Some of them you had to buy from an auction, etc. But then, the last Forza Horizon 3 and Forza Horizon 4 decided to come out with goofy, co-branding things. They did one with Hot Wheels to get Hot Wheels vehicles, and then they also did one with Lego to get Lego cars. Yeah, Lego cars in the game, which to me was pretty unacceptable. But then I'm a crotchety old man who'd been playing every version of Forza Horizons and Forza Motorsports I could get my hands on. So the idea that there was Lego cars in the game was kind of stupid. But, you know, I'm a collector. I want all the Lego cars. And I want to complete the map and all that stuff. Well, checking down, make sure I've got nobody chatting or blabbling on. Nobody chatting telling me, get to the point, old man. Anyway, I got a long ways to go here, painfully long ways, so I'm trying to fill the spare time. You had to, to complete everything, you had to like build this structure, and if you built this entire structure out of Legos, certain tasks you did, you collected Legos, you had to do these challenges, right? Lego bricks. And then you could use these Lego bricks to build some kind of ultimate garage thing. You can't see how I'm grimacing. No face cam, but if there's ever a time for face cam for me, and there is never a time for face cam for me, you would see how I'm grimacing over this. But, oh boy, lap flip. You had to be able to complete all of the trick things by like 3 stars you had to do for all the jump things. These are normal Forza Horizon things. You have to jump so far, or you had to go so fast or something. I don't know what they all were. There were like 3 classes always. Jumping and something else and drifting. And now the drifting is a no-go, but I tried to at least get 1 star on all the drift challenges, and I couldn't, but I tried to get as many, at least complete all the drift challenges. Again, as a collector, I wanted to get at least 1 star and everything. I don't remember if I did ever get 1 star and everything for all the other Horizons. I think I may have. I mean, I was so into Forza Horizons, I bought oh, what's it called? The movies. The terrible movies with, oh, I can't think of the guy's name either. Italian Family. Yeah, it's all for the family. Terrible, trashy driving movies where every time somebody wants to go fast, you just see them downshifting. Because of course, downshifting makes the car go faster. Even if you got it topped out in top gear, you just downshift and you're going faster. You know, those movies, and there was an expansion based on those movies, and it was so horrible. To be honest, a little racist, but I still bought it and played it because it was an expansion of the Forza Horizon series. I had to have everything. But this Lego expansion, in order to get the be in the final race, in order to complete your house so you could be in the final race, you had to collect these bricks, and the only way to build your house is to collect all the bricks for all the challenges, and some of the challenges involved getting like 3 stars on all the drift events. I couldn't get 3 stars in all the drift events, so the first time ever, I could not do a part of the game. I was able to win all the cars, but I could not do a final race in the game. And I understand, I stopped playing at that point, and then I wish I hadn't stopped playing, or at least kept up with the game, but I had had enough. Because you could, there was actually a bug where you could get in the final race. You could get like all the bricks with a bug if you did certain things, you know, like Konami code things. Anyway, they patched that out, so you couldn't do that anymore by the time I came back and tried to play the game again. So I just said, well, I'm not going to get in that final race. As far as I knew, it didn't open up any more land. It was just a final race you could do, but it was, the final race was already, the circuit, I guess, was already there. I don't know. It was a dramatic, a more dramatic story mode version of the last race in the game as it was. So I don't think I missed anything. Anyway, don't remember. But I lived through that, and now I said, okay, well, Legos were kind of fun, and I'll play it occasionally. I won't try to finish it yet, but I will at least I'll still try to collect all the, you know, I went through all the roads and everything a long time ago, because that's the first thing you do, and find all the farm finds and all that stuff. I will try to get all the cars, because cars are content. You pay money for the content. Cars are content. Actual content. You can put liveries on them, and I created all kinds of custom liveries and a whole custom colors for the custom liveries, so that they had a consistent color scheme. And I used vinyl, semi-transparent vinyls, so that the colors were all nice and over silver. Yeah, I had this whole thing, and I had color coding convention for the wheels. So like my best favorite cars had platinum wheels, and then I had gold wheels and silver wheels and bronze wheels, and I don't know, I think I used some other color beyond bronze, a 0-star color. But I had all the cars. And then they started doing this thing where special edition cars that you could only get if you could win certain races against, guess this, the highest AI opponent. I couldn't win any races against the highest AI opponent, no matter how I tried. That meant there were certain races, certain cars, certain special edition, Forza edition cars, Horizon edition cars, I could no longer get. It's like, okay, that is the last straw. No matter what I do, I've spent hours and hours in the game grinding out, testing my luck, grinding out. I had all the suits and stuff for my avatar. I had this great Viking suit because I'm, you know, from Minnesota. No, I don't have Norwegian blood in me. Oh, that's Sweden. Mostly Norwegian. When the Norwegians conquered all that area, you know, Sweden says they have Vikings too. But I do have some Danish blood in me, and you know, the Danes also had Vikings when the Vikings from Norway conquered them. So I had a Viking outfit. Anyway, collected all the suits, but I couldn't beat. You know, I participated in the special events so I could get special things, but these weekly events you couldn't get them until unless you could do something that I just couldn't do by grinding out. There was no way I was going to beat the highest level AI in these races. They had to be in single races. You couldn't get a team to help you. So that was it. Our vehicles I couldn't attain. I'd done everything else I could do in the game. It's a game that has, you know, you could play it forever. There's, you know, special events and everything, all kinds of things. But and then later they tried, I guess, to ameliorate that some by giving you like wild cards, so that if you missed any special vehicles once a month, you know, you could go back and actually trade in these wild cards to get one of the rare things. But to get the wild cards, you had to still be able to complete the special event at a skill level I couldn't beat. So I couldn't get any wild cards so I could get the cars that I missed out on. And it wasn't just 1 or 2 cars I missed out on. So after a month of grinding, you could maybe get that one car. You know, each month you could get 1 wild card so that you could be, you know, get one of the special cars. So they made it so that if you could just not get 1 car, if you could just not meet 1 challenge, well, maybe you could make up for it by getting, you know, one of these other challenges. But I couldn't do any of the challenges, so I had no ability. So the game skill walled me out, and I could no longer get everything I could no longer be the collector and the grinder in the game that I once was. And you know, as you can see from my playthrough of this game, I don't care about being all that good, but how I played that game was because by grinding stuff out to collect everything. Like I said, I played it as a collector more than a competitor. I mean, I played almost no multiplayer races. I just played against the AI. And I did the special events, even the hooning events where I had to drive in circles and stuff. I could do those. But, no, I could not ever get all vehicles. So I gave up on the game. Now, I don't own Dirt Horizons 5. I don't know. Even if they fixed it. Because I couldn't trust them. Even if it came out and they said, okay, these secret cars that you can only get through. I mean, I had all the pre-order cars. All these secret cars you couldn't get. You had to be so good in order to get. We'll drop the skill wall. You can go ahead and get everything now. I couldn't trust them because that's how they started Horizon 4 for years, and then suddenly they raised the skill wall and you couldn't get stuff unless you had a certain skill level. Okay, I'm done with this game. I am done with this game. So that's my Forza Horizon story, and hopefully that's enough to get me the. Oh, look at that. Meters drifted 13 out of 17. I need to do it again. I gotta do another of these races, as I thought I probably would. Where did it put me? Did I get ahead of that guy? Well, don't tell me I got ahead of that guy. I didn't notice where I finished. Did I finish ahead of the guy? I was in second place the whole time. There's no way I finished ahead of that guy. Well, that was still not enough. So let's do another one. Maybe this will do it. The reason I'm doing 13 laps is because I'm an unlucky guy, but also because actually my apartment building doesn't have, it was built so long ago, it doesn't have an apartment 13. It has 16. It has 16. It doesn't have a 13th floor. It's only 3 stories high, but it has 16 apartments. No, actually it has 24 apartments. There's 8 apartments in the first floor because it's like a sub-level. Then 8 and then 16. But there's no apartment 13. Oh, it's kind of funny and dumb. Okay. Now I gotta watch this time. Yes. Now, maybe I'm driving the worst car, which is why I get beat. Well, but this is straight up. Did I beat straight up my, well, since I complained the whole time there about, Forza Horizon 4s, maybe I'll spend some time complaining about this game. I'm almost done with this game, and by the time you're watching this, I'm probably moved on to play another game. And I have a vote right now up. Oh, I should have actually posted this on Twitch. I have a vote right now. During my break, I'll post. The vote is not completed yet. But by the time you're watching this on YouTube, the vote will be completed. Voting for the game I play after this, I've got 2 candidates, and one I haven't bought yet, but I will probably buy anyway. One I already have, and either way I have to play to see if I can play that and enjoy playing that, and if it has a decent career mode and would make a good series, all that stuff. And after all that evaluation, then I need to actually set all the sound levels and all this other stuff, so have a bunch of test streams and things. Plus, I'm gonna be doing a test stream for my new headset. So the audio quality will either have gone up considerably or down considerably for the next game, or even probably before the end of this game, because I gotta get that pretty soon. So anyway, we'll see. My new tablet, which I needed to get a new tablet. I spent way too much money on it. I didn't really need a new tablet, except for the fact that I needed one with more memory because I couldn't, or more internal hard space, and more memory helps too. Because when I started streaming in 1080p, editing the files got much larger than when I was in 420p. It makes sense. It's like twice as large or 4 times as large or something. And my old tablet is running out of space, and I don't know why. Maybe it has some app that's like storing a bunch of ads or something. I don't know. If anybody knows, I'm thinking about taking it somewhere and just like, can you please root this and then see what might be going wrong? And then if I could unroot it, well, if I'm not going to use that much, I might as well leave it rooted. But. And my new tablet, not all the data transferred either. The data that went with the apps, it just reinstalled the apps. It's like, wait a minute, I've got all these applications, and you know, I have all these graphics things, all these projects, graphics projects, and sound video projects. But my old graphics program is no longer supporting that tablet. Android's had issues from day one with backward compatibility. Of course, people could say that, well, Microsoft with the PCs have backward compatibility issues because, you know, they have stuff that won't run. But surprisingly, I think since XP, you can open up shells that will actually run most older pieces of software, which is nice. At least I know people have been playing XP games on Windows 10, 11, and I think there were games that I played that on XP back in the day by opening up shells that are 3.1 compatible and that stuff. But there's no opening up a shell on Android. So anyway, but the whole thing about the new tablet is, of course, it doesn't have a headphone jack. I got the same brand that I had before because I thought I could transfer everything over, and it did transfer a lot of stuff over. It transferred over my desktop and stuff, big wow, and it transferred over the fact that I had all these applications, but it didn't transfer the data for the application, and the graphics software I was using to make my thumbnails and stuff will no longer work on the new tablet. And there's no compatibility mode, so I can't do everything on the new tablet. I'm going to keep the old tablet still to do a bunch of stuff I was doing until I can, like, recreate all my thumbnail projects. Oh boy. That would not be fun in some other software program. Which the one I have is a pretty simple program. I probably could recreate it, but it's got layers, it's got, you know, it doesn't support the fancy new S Pen, they call it. The latest edition of Android, which gives you more precise pen control. I've got a little pen from my old one, but it doesn't have the pinpoint resolution at all. It's basically a very, very thin finger. Anyway, so have to recreate. I used to do all my graphics in my Microsoft Word, which I could then export to, you know, a PDF file. You know, graphics for, like, I have it on my list of things to do. I create a lot of games, and I have made games. I've made a lot of games that are not, you know, that require custom things, custom cards or custom boards and stuff. I made a lot of those. With moderate, you know, my friends at least said they liked them, and some of them actually liked them enough to want to play them, you know, every weekend or whatever. Um, I sent some prototypes to a group of people. One had a certain theme to it, and some of the ideas were from another game that was no longer available. And so some people complained, hey, this is just this so-and-so game, but with a different theme. It's like, well, there are some differences that are appropriate to the theme. It's not a complete clone, and the other game isn't available anymore. So, but some people said they really liked it. But then I never published it for real or anything. The reception wasn't good enough that I would spend the money to actually publish it. So they were stickers placed on top of other playing cards, basically. This was over 20 years ago, so things were being able to print things on real cardstock or something that wasn't. Actually, you can do that now. You can go to the U.S. Playing Card Company, and if you give them make up the right files with the right graphic format, probably TIFF or something, that nobody supports except greenhouses. You could get custom cards printed, and a lot of people use that just to do graphics for custom playing cards. So if you go online, you can buy custom playing cards for anything, any kind of motif, but they're just regular playing cards, 52 cards. These have different numbers. But I also have a custom card and dice game that you can play with regular six-sided dice. One, you have to paint the dice, but that's pretty easy to do, paint the pips. I have rules for that, and then I have a couple of card games that you play with regular decks of dice. And no, they're not games where you build a deck and you fight and all this other stuff. And I've never made a game like that. I've always hated those kind of games. They're not those kind of games, like Hearthstone or anything else that you have to spend $100,000 if you want to actually get card packs to make a good enough deck that you can beat somebody with. Nothing like that. No pay-to-win games. No, just free games. I've got one I was always thinking about doing a YouTube video of. It still wouldn't show my face, but I'd have to be able to set up a camera and whatever. Maybe my new tablet would be able to do it better. Just of how to play, because I've got a PDF file that I could link people to. I would either store the PDF file or maybe I'd see how it looks, transfer it to Google Doc. Probably not great. But it's a PDF, so maybe Google Doc could just grab a PDF. I could do a private link to it. I think on Google Drive or I think there's a link to it now on what is the account? Chain Loss Collision, okay. Dropbox. I got a Dropbox account, which I have had a Dropbox account, a free Drops account for a long time. Now they charge outrageous prices because they're a small company compared to they were the ones for a long time. Now they're a small company compared to the people that also offer. Microsoft and Google offer their own cloud services, as does Apple, but you need an Apple device to do that, I think. And with Microsoft and Google, you can buy reasonably smaller, 10 gigabyte or something of space, whatever it is. But there's nothing like that for Dropbox. You have to buy like a terabyte of cloud space, and they charge you, because their thing now is they're only for professionals. They'd say they lose money. I talked to them. They say, well, we actually lose money on the smaller ones. I said, yeah, but isn't that like a lost leader for getting customers for your bigger drives? And they said, well, not really. We're not big enough to be able to afford that. So anyway, and their bigger ones are more expensive because they need the money. So they decided, we're just going to appeal to enterprise Enterprise organizations. We only produce enterprise software. You heard that? Is that a term that's still around? Enterprise software. I used to write enterprise software, but you know, not. Yeah. See, I still finished second. I couldn't tell because they had the same logo, but I had to see which one had my personal logo. Yeah, and how far behind did I do? Score. This is easy AI against my teammate who doesn't try to beat me on the easiest difficulty with all the assists turned up, everything I'd have turned up for drifting. And they got almost 3 times the score that I got. This tells you that I can never beat an actual AI race in this drifting. When somebody's getting 3 times the score as me per race. So I'm not doing the drift events, but I'm gonna check to see if maybe I can get all those challenges, if that will count. Did I get it? Did I finally get it? I still didn't get it. No! I needed 285 more. Okay, I don't know what 285 is, but I'm gonna cut this down to 3 laps. Let me make sure I do have the AI set to easy. Yes, AI as easy as I can get it. Visual only damage. Terminal damage off. Etc. Etc. Everything easy that I can do for drift events. Because there's a setting that's gives you drift. No elimination. I wouldn't be able to get around. All right, 3 laps going to be enough? If not, I do 5 just in case. 5 just in case. I mean, I missed it by so little. Keep in mind, I can't buy the car until I run the event that I need the car for. Well, I guess this car I could buy. And then I could upgrade it. I don't think that would make a difference. I've tried drifts with... I mean, his car isn't upgraded either. So, and the upgrades are... Maybe it is upgraded. To turn off upgrades? I don't know. He would drive the mirror car as me. He's my teammate. I'm not quite to 40 minutes yet. I want to do the episodes at least 40 minutes. Because of my air conditioner, because of the heat wave. I can't, in the 10 minutes or so of my break, I'm not going to be able to cool the apartment down significantly. And I can definitely feel it's getting warmer. And I am an old man, and I do have some health concerns that, as a lot of old people have, I guess, that could make it, you know, I'm more susceptible to issues that could affect me. At least it's breezy today, and tomorrow we're supposed to be. I didn't check actually the report, but it was going to be like 15-mile-an-hour winds with gusts. So that's the only saving grace. It's very sunny, very humid, very hot. So there is a heat advisory. Now I don't I don't know if it's just a heat advisory or if it's an extreme heat warning. I didn't notice that, because there are 2 levels. But yeah, you know, a couple times a year we get temperatures and humidity levels like this. We get heat advisories or warnings or whatever. Even though I live in the Great White North in Minnesota, which is not the Great White North, but we're close to the Great White North. The difference is, they say a boot, and we say a boat. It's a boat time, and if you live in Canada, it's a boot time. You gotta wear your boots to get on your boat. And it's a boat time, you get on your boot. Oh, so there's a joke in there somewhere. A Canadian and Minnesotan walk into a bar. No, that wouldn't be a bar. Walk into a bait store. A Canadian and a Minnesotan walk into a bait store. On the border. Walk in a bait store on the border. On the border. Oh. In case you don't know, that's how you can tell a Canadian accent from Minnesota accent. Write the phrase down, it's about time, and see how they pronounce it. There actually was, I've told this on stream before, but I don't know if I ever told it on the Grid Legends stream before, that Northwest Airlines, who is based around here, there's they were running some ad. Maybe it was like a Northwest Express. They were running some ad in the summertime for, you know, short flights, whatever. And the ad was, "Isn't about time for vacation," but it was like a boat time. You know, they showed a boat, and I think they may have actually spelled it a boat. Isn't a boat time for vacation? Good old Northwest Airlines. That might have been before they bought out all the airlines they bought out. Do you guys know that Wells Fargo Bank actually was originally Norwest Bank? Which was originally Northwest for Northwest Airlines. And they made more money than, at the time, Wells Fargo Bank. And so they bought out this what started as a little bank for Northwest Airlines, grew to the point, made enough money that they bought out Wells Fargo, but they realized that having a super bank called Norwest was probably not not as recognizable. Miles drifted. Yes, I got it. Probably not as good of a... Their brand wasn't as well known, even though they had more money. When they merged, they actually was the primary. It was a, you know, it wasn't necessarily they bought them out because Wells Fargo was failing or anything, but they were the majority partner in the merger, and but they decided to keep the name Wells Fargo because it was better for them, because people would recognize Wells Fargo. You know, they got the cool Stagecoach logo and stuff. So yes, there's a Wells Fargo headquarters in Minneapolis. There's also one on the West Coast, but there's one in Minneapolis. Let's see. I got it. I'm done. I can now run the race that will let me buy the car, which is totally unrelated to drifting. Why I had to... Okay, now the car I want to unlock for the open wheel, which you do open wheel cars. Wrong button. This car, which I need for the next open wheel race, I can't buy until I complete the AVAC sponsor event, which I needed to complete drifting challenge. I need to drift so many miles to beat the sponsor, to be able to be eligible for the sponsor event. Even though you don't use a drift car in the sponsor event. Do you? Maybe let's see what the sponsor event. Maybe you have to use a drift car in the sponsor event. But you have to complete the event. I don't know if that means you have to complete your objectives in the event. Usually it doesn't. I might get stuck after all on this. What's the sponsor event? See, it says the gauntlet, complete all pro categories, 6 of 9. But there are 10 categories. So I have a feeling that they just don't count the challenges. That this is not a category, that this is a category, which I can't finish, so I can't finish the game. But there aren't too many challenges, so I'll give it a try, and then I'll have 9 out of 9 that won't count. Anyway, so here's the car that I need for this. But now, what's the Xenon Dynamic Sponsor Objectives, which I've actually... Oh, I didn't do the sponsor event, did I? No. AVAC sponsor event. Where's the AVAC sponsor event? Oh, that's the Xenon. Oh, AVAC sponsor. Okay. Yes, and this uses the car that I need to buy. It says I need to finish in first place. And I hope to goodness I don't actually have to finish in first place in order to... I don't have to complete the objective to be able to buy the car. I can't buy the car until I do this race. All that two full episodes of nonsense trying to meet those sponsor objectives, and I may still be stuck and not be able to complete the open wheel. I don't know. Anyway, I'm warm. I'm over 45 minutes. I am going to end the YouTube episode here. If you are watching on Twitch, I will be back. I'm just going to take a break and we can chat while the air conditioner's on. If you are watching on YouTube, though, that will be it for this YouTube episode. The next YouTube episode will be the next weekend, Saturday, Sunday, at 6 p.m. U.S. Central Time, which is midnight in UK, and noon next day in New Zealand. So Twitch, stick around. YouTube, next episode. Either way, thank you much for watching, and I will see you then.